video number 7 out of 52 in this sound painting series. My name is Evan Mazunik, and if you're just joining us, you should know that every week this year in 2011, I'm going to release a short video of me using sound painting and invite you, the viewer, to participate in this work. So, you might be wondering, what is sound painting? And bear with me if you've been watching, but if you're new to this, sound painting is the name of a sign language for live composition, and it was created by Mr. Walter Thompson. If you want more information, Google it, go to soundpainting.com, or you can check out a link below this video. So, we've been building a vocabulary together of sound painting gestures, some who gestures, like whole group, some what gestures, like long tone or pointillism, some when gestures, enter slowly and exit slowly, a play, an off gesture. We've been working in the who's and the what's and the when's of sound painting, but we haven't gotten to the how's. And the how is a really fascinating area of the language, really rich. So today we're going to delve into that a bit by adding a few faders, what are known in sound painting as putting a parameter on a fader. So we're going to work with volume, we're going to work with volume, I'll show it, we're going to work with tempo, and we're just going to focus on those two. I'm tempted to teach you more, but I just want to get the most out of just those two gestures today. And we're also going to work changing gears in a different direction. We're going to work in something in sound painting which is called a mode. All right? Not pi a la mode, but a mode. And a mode is any way of working where the gesture initiates the response. So it sort of steps outside that usual syntax of a who, a what, and then a when gesture, like whole group, long tone, play, for instance. A mode gives an immediate response. We were working in what is known as launch mode before, for the first few videos, and I'm going to work with a really simple mode today that's called point to point. Point to point. And the gesture for point to point is this. It's not a Travolta Saturday Night Live, or Saturday Night Fever rather, gesture, but it's me preparing you for a point. And that's not a point in space or a point conceptually, that's literally a point. I'll point right at you, for instance. Now if we had, imagine we had a huge ensemble, we might do things like this and point over here and over here. But right now I'm just going to work with one big fat, almost Monty Python, Terry Gilliam style finger, just coming right at you. And I'll put a little footnote in this, asterisk, for those of you looking for more advanced sound painting knowledge. This is a way of working known as a field point to point, where you just get a whole bunch of people with one point. So you might get 200 folks with one point instead of one individual. Let me come back though to the normal way of working though. So what the heck is point to point, a gesture, besides me getting my groove on the dance floor? Point to point is a way of working where I'll point right at you, and the initiation is as soon as you see the gesture come at you, you come in. Now, what do you come in with? That's a great question. Unless I set another qualifying gesture, you come in with material you want, because you're an improviser here in this moment. But all I ask, and all the gesture really asks, is that you develop your material slowly, in the sense of, say we started with an idea, maybe my idea was the color blue, and I'm an actor, so the prep is whole group, point to point, blue, and I'll also be the actor, by the way, as well as the sound painter. Blue, blue, something blue, blue moon, blue lagoon, blue navy blue. So do you see how and hear how I'm just working with one little motivic idea and really sort of milking it for all it's worth? And you can imagine how maybe a minute from now, in clock time, a minute from now, you'll still feel that little thread of connection with the idea or concept or word of blue. So that's one example of how you might realize this gesture. So the content, there's a way to set the content and sort of shrink it down. but the content is open in this mode of working point to point. You come in immediately at the end of my hand, and you'll continue, and then to get back to silence or stillness, I'll just drop my hand. So you're only active as long as I'm pointing at you. So we've got a couple gestures, whole group, we know. There you go, that's a better whole group. Point to point is the preparation. Here's the initiation. Here's coming back to stillness or silence. Now inside of that, we're going to add another gesture because I just might get tired of holding my hand here, and I may just give you a continue gesture. Either hand. And that continue gesture really is this. Not, what is that, traveling? Offsides? Anyone help me out with some referee knowledge here? I'm only down with baseball, so you'll have to forgive my knowledge or lack thereof of other sports. But you've got this gesture for continue. And to put it on a one-handed version of it is just this. So what does that mean? That means I'll point at you, and I like what I'm hearing or seeing, or in this case imagining, and I'll say continue, and then you keep going. Otherwise, normally, right, you'd relax back to stillness or silence, but here, same idea as blue again. I'll be an actor. Whole group, point to point. I'm thinking blue. The sound painter comes at me with a point to point. I come in immediately with blue. Blue, something blue. You are blue. You are so blue today. Who's blue? Blue through. To blue. And then once we're continuing, I might look at whole group and say, exit slowly. Because we've continued in a point to point. Now how do we go back to stillness or silence? Whole group, exit slowly is one way. Alright, so I know I'm covering a couple gestures in depth here, but I really want to just focus on. We've got the whole group I'll use point to point. And I won't work with more than just really one point. So if you're a soloist or an ensemble, one person, 500 people, you'll all respond to this gesture. I'll work with maybe continue. And then once that's continuing, I'll modify that in real time and shape it in real time with these faders. You remember those? So volume and tempo. And either side, it could be over here. Volume and tempo. So, relative to where you're at in the moment, whatever your choice is, will gradually crescendo if you're a musician, get louder if you're an actor, take up more space if you're working in the visual arts or movement, dancing. So this gesture is multidisciplinary, volume, and this is an increasing volume, and you respond to it in real time, as if we had sort of sliders on a mixing board in sound, or as if your movement was sort of ballooning and gaining more and more volume in space. And also tempo, relative to where your choice is, start to slow it down in real time, follow me, or speed up in real time, accelerando, if you want to get fancy. Tempo, volume, and those again are working in real time. You don't wait for any type of enter slowly. You just go with my gesture, okay? Great, so if you have any questions, feel free to contact me through the link below on Bliss Street Studios. Leave a comment below this video, and also please, I look forward to some very amazing and creative responses to these videos, and I'll see you on the other side. forward to your video response, and I'll see you next week.